Hello, everybody.
Nope, not yet.
Oh,
You're good.
hello, everybody. Welcome to the season 34 presidential results, folks. This has been a contentious election.
Do we even send the link to the mix chat?
I posted it first. Just
Ooh.
don't worry about it. Keep going.
Just tell. Okay.
I don't know why you
So-
interrupted with that piece of information, but keep going.
Anyway, we are here with season 34 presidential results. So, Andrew, I know you're controlling the slides.
I am.
Every time I either say we have a projection or we have results to look at, you will change the slide. Got it?
We'll click bottom. Right.
Yeah, just go to the next slide. All right. So, everybody, we are going to get into our first projection of the night. Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
I said we were going to get into our first projection of the night.
All right.
Here we go. Everybody, in the state of Kentucky, Mish Fox has won the state of Kentucky. We have another projection in another state, which is the state of Indiana has gone for Mish Fox. This is somewhat significant because Mish Fox was not necessarily expected to win Indiana right from the gate out. So that's that. And we have one last projection for our 7 p.m. poll closings. And that is the state of Vermont has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. So now let's take a look at the electoral map. 19 electoral votes for Mish Fox and 3 electoral votes for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. Any discussion on the results so far?
Well, I mean, this is expected results for Fox and Gallagher. I mean, we're seeing early votes come in, obviously, and I think the Fox campaign is energized by such an early win in Indiana. I think Gallagher is even more energized by a win in Vermont. It's going to be interesting to see how this night plays out.
Because as we know, Vermont was a highly contentious state.
A highly contentious state, it always is. Kentucky is also an extremely highly contentious state.
Monique Henderson, please, you want to get a word in?
This season, Indiana, Kentucky, and Vermont were almost as contentious as Colorado and Florida are every season. So
Colorado and Florida will come into play tonight. We know that for a fact.
No, because they're states and they have electoral votes.
I think these are
True.
standard results. No big surprises here.
Well, I did hear from numerous people predicting that Gallagher might win Indiana, and obviously that's fallen by the wayside now. But anyway, we're going to move on to our 7:30 p.m. poll closings.
Right. The music.
Yep.
All right.
7:30 p.m. poll closings. Sorry, we don't have a. Anyway, first date, we can say that Ohio is too close to call. With 9% of the precincts reporting, Mish Fox leads Mark Kennedy Gallagher by nearly 2 points, 1.5 points to be exact. But this is an early result, 9% of precincts reporting. Now on to the next state, which is the state of Virginia. Mark Kennedy Gallagher with a narrow lead over Mish Fox in that state, 6% of precincts reporting there. This will be one to watch, just as Ohio will be to watch all night long. Now on to the next state, which is the state of North Carolina. Mish Fox holds an early lead of roughly 4 points over Mark Kennedy Gallagher. This is a state that Nathan Brown, other prominent Democratic politicians had made a play for, but is not necessarily looking well for the Democratic Party. Now on to the next state, and this is an interesting one, folks. This is a very interesting one, actually. The state of Georgia, 2% of the vote in, 46% to 45% in favor of Mish Fox, although there is a significant campaign to write in Nathan Brown in that state, which is making the third-party share a lot higher. Now to the last too close to call state so far, which is the state of Florida, everybody.
Ooh.
look at this.
The
This
Cuban.
is a state that reports their votes quickly, and they are getting results in quickly. It is a dead heat, I repeat, in Florida. Now we actually do have a projection to make at this hour, which is that Mish Fox has won the state of West Virginia, and it's 5 electoral votes expected. And one last projection of the hour, which is the state of South Carolina going for Mish Fox. And now let's take a look at the electoral map, which is 33 for Mish Fox and 3 for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. Everybody, thoughts on these very early returns?
All right, let me begin please. We're gonna have a very interesting night to watch. Some people really expected a Gallagher landslide, a blue wave in the presidential election, but it's looking pretty narrow in the states. We're getting to have a very close races. Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida are key battlegrounds for every campaign every season. But I will try to note something real quick here. Just as we saw Donald Trump in this year lead in Virginia for most of the night, the same thing he was leading also in 2016, not just because of the mail-in ballots. But then Biden came back, and Hillary Clinton in 2016 came back and won the state of Virginia. The fact that it's narrow right now, even if it's Mish Fox lead or slight Gallagher win, I think the Democrats are doing pretty well in those suburbs. I think that's a pretty good indicator for them. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm just saying it's a pretty good indicator for them. But the rest of the states look good for Mish, perhaps. We're going to see Florida. That counted quick. We had 20% in, so that's a lot. That's a lot of votes in. We're going to see how the Cubans play out here, how the elderly vote plays out here. The Cuban Republican establishment. Anyway,
I think it's most interesting that Nathan Brown is getting such a significant amount of write-in votes in Georgia that it's actually playing in on the results. We're seeing, we know for a fact the Gallagher campaign is not happy about seeing Democrats break off, or Democrats, independents, or just Nathan Brown supporters in general, break off and write in their vice presidential candidate for the presidency again. I think that's if we see that play out across the country, which we could. Nathan Brown obviously was the president of the United States. He has national name recognition and a core base of support, which is part of the reason he was chosen for the Gallagher campaign, I'd say. So if we see this play out across the country, could we see a significant enough third write-in campaign to propel Fox to the presidency, or will Gallagher hold enough votes to win the presidency, despite in this early vote seeing Brown with some write-in votes?
Quickly, I want to talk about 3 states. Four. Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia. All states that Gallagher campaign, including myself, targeted heavily. I'm obviously from Virginia. Virginia went red when I ran for president in season 33, and when my late friend Robert Sanders ran in season 32. The Gallagher campaign announced Nathan Brown as the VP in Lawrenceville, Georgia, a metro Atlanta suburb in Georgia's 7th congressional district, which I expect will be watched heavily. Florida. The governor of Jefferson, Sean Washington, campaigned heavily in Florida. I did a few speeches in Florida. Nathan Brown was in Florida. North Carolina, the Speaker of the House, David Garcia, is from North Carolina. He's supporting the Gallagher campaign. So there are a lot of prominent figures in all of these states supporting the Gallagher campaign. People trust them. They're being elected in wide margins. So I expect these states to all go blue, maybe with the exception of Georgia.
Well, I mean, I think that's the question of this election is, do the people still trust these people? And that's what we'll see play out tonight, is the people's trust still in these figures that you just named? And I think, as I believe they are, my opinion is that they are, but the question of the night is, is the people's faith still in these
Yeah.
idols that we have created?
We're gonna have to excuse me.
People.
I'm gonna have to interrupt the commentary right now. We are getting to some major 8 p.m. projections. Major 8 p.m. projections. Andrew, if you could move the slide. Here we go. 8 p.m. poll closings. The first of which is Mississippi goes to Mish Fox, a traditionally Republican state going Republican. Not a surprise here. All right, on to the next projection, which is the state of Alabama going to Mish Fox. Once again, expected. The next projection of the 8 p.m. poll closings is the state of Tennessee, another expected Republican state. And the last projection for Mish Fox at this late hour is the state of Oklahoma. 7 electoral votes going in Mish Fox's column. And now we're going to move on to some Gallagher projections. The state of Maine, 3 of 4 electoral votes to Mark Gallagher. And the next projection, my home state, the great state of Massachusetts, goes to Mark Kennedy Gallagher. And then now the next projection, Rhode Island, goes to Gallagher. This is a flip. Well, not a flip, actually. That's not true. But this is a significant win for Mark Gallagher. Now, moving on to the next projection in the state of Connecticut. State of Connecticut, 8 electoral votes in Mark Gallagher's column. And on to the next projection. New Jersey, 14 electoral votes to Mark Gallagher. And to a state which is going to be a flip in Mark Gallagher's column, Delaware. Monique Henderson lost it in season 33, and Mark Gallagher wins it in season 34. And now on to the state of Maryland, where Mark Kennedy Gallagher has won. Now on to our second to last projection, which is the District of Columbia going for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. No surprise. And the next projection, which is the state of Illinois going for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. And the last projection of the night is the state of Puerto Rico going for Mark Kennedy Gallagher.
Ben,
Yes?
look at this
What?
slide.
We're getting a lot of reports of lag.
Yeah, we're getting
I
some.
can see the lag on the slides coming in from the call itself, so it's not the YouTube.
Oh, can the YouTuber see the slide?
I mean, yeah, they're seeing the slides. It's just like the transition between the slides is very laggy. I'm just.
Okay.
But you have a slide right here. You didn't.
Hold on. Wait,
No, I'm
is that the
referring
Missouri
to-
slide? Oh, the Missouri slide. Sorry.
Missouri's heads up. You
Mish
got-
Fox leads in the state of. Sorry, that lagged out for me. Anyway, Mish Fox leads in the state of Missouri. This is a significant development. How about this, folks? Mark Kennedy Gallagher won in the state, and now we're going to move on to the next state, which is Robert's home state of New Hampshire. Mish Fox with an early lead. Mish Fox, a former libertarian, and someone who really does appeal to the New England Republicans, is leading in the state of New Hampshire. And last but not least, a crucial kingmaker in this year's general election, it is the state of Pennsylvania. Mark Kennedy Gallagher leading by under a point with 10% of the precincts reporting. And now let's take a look at the electoral map. 85 electoral votes for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, 66 for Mish Fox. Any thoughts?
Let me just begin by saying Pennsylvania, again, went red in the last 2 presidential elections by significant margins, especially in season 33.
Season 32, it went blue.
I wrote one. Pennsylvania.
Sorry. Well, it went blue season 30, season 32, flipped in season 33, and hopefully it'll flip again season 34. The Gallagher campaign we want to win Pennsylvania. That's why you saw me and Nate Brown, the vice presidential nominee there, Friday, right before polls closed. I did a series of get out the vote rallies and speeches. For Pennsylvania was the first. So losing Pennsylvania would be a big letdown, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to win a substantial margin, and I think that's going to propel him to the White House, which is my hope and my prediction.
I think seeing Fox's strength in New Hampshire, at least coming from New England and having campaigned for Gallagher in that state, is a very big indicator in how he's going to play out and through this election. I think we're going to see it be much closer than people expected. I don't think we could see the blue wave that everyone was expecting. I think that ultimately Gallagher will still win this election, but Fox ultimately proved to be much stronger than people had predicted from national polling and other polls that had come up throughout the election. I think that if New Hampshire goes red, it's going to be a very long night for the Gallagher campaign. But if Gallagher can pull out a win in the next round of results for New Hampshire, then we'll see very clearly that he could go on to be the president of the United States.
Yes, New Hampshire could be a kingmaker. It's 4 electoral votes, but 4 electoral votes can make a difference. We've seen that throughout history. Mr. Davis, I'm not sure if, Ethan, what's your take on these results for the Fox campaign?
They're obviously very early. Going into this, we recognize we were definitely the underdogs. Having leads in some of these early close states are good signs. We're being optimistic. New Hampshire's looking good, along with other states. We're hoping to pull off a win here tonight, and we'll see as the night goes. One thing I want to know, Harvey did run, and in Maine, he was usually pretty strong. And
that is
now
important.
he's not strong. So he's getting progressively worse in his results as the seasons go.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, that can happen with perennial candidates, especially if their campaigns get less and less serious as it goes on. He dropped out or said he was leaving a couple days before the election. I think that might have played into him losing so many votes in Maine as opposed to his other elections. But
Also,
all right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Quickly, in season 32 rather, Harper ran, I believe he won Maine. Forget the results in season 33. Season 32, I believe he won Maine. I forget the results of season 33. But his campaign this season was as active or strong as mentioned. He didn't attend the debates, whether he met polling thresholds or not. He wasn't there. Voters didn't really get to see or hear him. And I think a lot of voters, especially in Maine, are getting fed up with the mods hate me or, the kind of commentary that we've heard the long campaign since season 32. And we've also had much stronger candidates in this election than we arguably did in 33, or especially on the Democratic side. And yes, that was a blow to myself.
All right.
Anyway.
I'm going to have to interrupt you. We do have some more projections to make. It is the 8:30 p.m. poll closings. Andrew, if you could just flip the slides, we do have projections to make at this hour. Next slide. Sorry about that. 8:30 p.m. poll closings. And we have our first projection of the night, which is that Mish Fox has won the state of Arkansas. And it's 6 electoral votes. This was expected, but we do have a key race alert right now. We have a major projection to make. The state of Missouri has gone for Mish Fox. This is a state that Mark Kennedy Gallagher wanted to win. He was hoping to win it, but he did not win it. And it ultimately goes back to its Republican roots in Mish Fox. Now we have a key race alert out of the state of Florida. Let's take a look at Florida. 49.8 to 49.7. Mark Kennedy Gallagher leads in the state of Florida by a razor-thin margin with 72% of the vote reporting. And we have next, we have results out of the state of Pennsylvania. 51% to 48%. Gallagher is increasing his lead in that state with 47% of precincts reporting. And last but not least, in Ohio, we have Mish Fox leading by 0.5% with 50% of the vote already in. He maintains his lead in Ohio, but it is shrinking. But he does still have a lead in Ohio, a state that many expected Gallagher to win. Now let's take a look at the electoral map, everybody. Can we take a look at the electoral map?
It's there.
It's there. Oh, sorry, it was a little slow. Okay, so we have 85 electoral votes for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, 82 for Mish Fox, and this election looks like it's getting a little tighter.
I'll tell you what. I think if I was in the Fox camp, honestly, I wouldn't be too optimistic because, as Ethan said, and he's from there, they are the underdogs this election. They have a lot to prove if they want to win today. They will prove a lot if they do. But I think we're going to see a pretty decent performance. Mish. I think we could see that. Something like, we could call it the Mitt Fox, like Mitt Romney carried slightly over 200. We could see Mish carry just over 200 electoral votes. I think we're going to see a Mitt Fox result tonight.
Well,
That's my prediction so far.
Thoughts from the Fox? Oh, thoughts from the Gallagher campaign on that?
Well, I'm sitting here. I don't know if the cameras can see, but I'm sitting here with my phone, texting back and forth with, my friends and whatnot at the Gallagher headquarters. Look, we're all optimistic about this election. We've been optimistic from the beginning. Now, Missouri going red, of course, it's a disappointment. We held a national convention there, but it's not unexpected. And to be clear, holding the DNC in Missouri was never about flipping the state of Missouri, but it was about showing people that Democratic candidates, or a Democratic candidate like my friend Mark Kennedy Gallagher, no matter if you're in a red state or a blue state, as president, he's going to listen to you and be your president. Now, for the millions of people who have already voted for him and had their votes counted and their votes have been called or reported in their states have been called,
Stop the count.
But
Stop the count.
there are millions of more votes to come in. We expect to win Colorado, Nevada, Virginia, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, in all those states where Mark is actually from. So Ohio, I think he's doing pretty well in Ohio, especially in the margins of last season. So again, we're still very confident, still very early. He has a slight lead in electoral vote. He has a slight lead in certain states. So I think it's going to be a long night, especially for Fox campaign, given that he had to rebuild a coalition in the middle of the election due to unfortunate.
I am going to stop you right there. We have a key race alert right now, a major projection to make. Andrew?
Oh, wow.
Yes. We have a major projection, which is that Mish Fox has won the state of Georgia and its 16 electoral votes. This is a significant win for the Fox campaign. Excuse me, could you just... We are now going to take a look at the electoral count. Unfortunately, we don't have a map, but you can see the count, which is 92 for Mish Fox, 85 for Gallagher. Sorry, we don't have a map. That was a little bit of an error.
Somebody took away the map. Rigged election.
I know. I know.
Excellent.
But anyway, let's talk about this projection.
I mean, we saw obviously that the Nathan Brown vote and Fox's underdog status played well in Georgia, and as a result, Fox has won those 16 electoral votes. I still think Gallagher has a reason to be quite optimistic about this election. The red mirage of Republican votes coming in early, I don't think should depress any Democrats out there at the Fox or at the Gallagher headquarters who are looking at this result and see, a Fox victory coming. I still don't foresee that. I think that this is a strong win for the Fox campaign, and I think they're definitely energized by this win. But until we start to see results in North Carolina and Ohio and Pennsylvania, Fox victories in those states, which as of right now are still unlikely, I don't think we have reason to really think that Mish Fox has overcome his underdog status to become the president of the United States.
Again, I'm sitting here talking to people at the Gallagher headquarters, and here's the thing that I know. Nathan Brown was selected to be vice presidential nominee not because he's a Republican, not because he's from Georgia, not because he wanted to flip Georgia. It was simply
Hold on,
because
I'm pausing you for a second. Someone pointed out something very good. The electoral count for this electoral map is wrong. It is 98 electoral votes for Mish Fox, 85 for Mark Gallagher.
Sad Russian puppet can't.
I
do
know.
that.
I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm
Sad
rigging it
Russian
for.
It looks
puppet.
like
I'm
Mish
rigging
Fox
it.
is being rigged.
Okay.
The courts.
Stop
We
the
have the
count
courts.
while Mission's
We're gonna
ahead.
give the
Stop
courts-
the
Yeah,
count.
I know. This is
Stop
this
the
is
count.
seemingly evidence of fraud. I know. I know.
There is
Anyway.
fraud. Stop the count.
All right.
People. Well, okay. I'm looking at the chat right now. There are some people saying that Georgia's going to get retracted. Our experts are not going to retract this call. Let me just put it that way.
I don't think it would have been called if there was, I believe that it could be retracted.
Georgia
We're
needs to
seeing
stop
word out
the
of. I
count.
think just.
Okay.
I think we're seeing word out of the Fox campaign coming directly from the candidate that the mods are on Team Gallagher. So I think this is. I think he was joking about that, but I think that.
Yeah. Well, listen, folks. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't get the electoral count exactly right. But you get the point. Georgia has gone.
Russian puppet can't do math.
We're gonna
Live
joke
television,
about
folks.
this. We're gonna
Mistakes happen.
joke about this.
Anyway,
Maybe a lot, but
can we? Okay, we are going to
maybe
get some. Excuse me.
about it.
We're going to get some 9 p.m. projections right now.
Thank you.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, the first projection in the state of New York is that Mark Kennedy Gallagher has won that state. Expected results, a very liberal state, really. And anyway, we're going to move on to the next projection, which is another expected state. It is the state of North Dakota, as you can see right there. It is a great state, and it has gone for Mish Fox. Another great state, which has gone for Mish Fox, is the state of South Dakota. How about that? It has gone for Mish Fox, 3 electoral votes, an expected result, and now we move on to the next projection of 9 p.m., which is the state of Nebraska. 4 of 5 electoral votes going to Mish Fox, that 2nd congressional district being outstanding. We have another projection to make, which is the state of Kansas has gone for Mish Fox. Expected result once again. Anyway, the next result we have is the state of Texas. State of Texas, 38 electoral votes going for Mish Fox. That is a big outload right there. Anyway, our last projection of this hour is the state of Louisiana. And it will be going to Mish Fox, as you can see right there. So, and now we have some results out of the state of Michigan, as you can see on the screen. Mark Kennedy Gallagher out to an early lead above Mish Fox, as you can see there. And now we have some results out of the state of Wisconsin, which show Mark Kennedy Gallagher above Mish Fox in a too early to call state. And now another Midwestern state, which is too close to call in this case, is Minnesota, 51% to 16 with 16%. I'm sorry, 46. 51 to 46 with 16% of the precincts reporting. And now we go to a really interesting case, although I will caution this is an early vote. The next slide we see Arizona. Mark Kenny Gallagher leading, although this is early mail-ins from Maricopa County, which are going to skew Democratic.
Of course they are.
And then we have results out. Yeah. We have results of the state of Colorado. If you could show those. Mark Kenny Gallagher actually narrow lead. Now, lastly, this might be a shocker to some people, which is the state of New Mexico is very close at the moment with 13% of the vote reporting. And actually, we have a major projection right now. We have just received word, folks. If you could go to the next slide, that North Carolina has gone to Mish Fox. This is a big projection, folks. Anyway, let's take a look at the electoral map. The electoral map is slightly wrong, by the way. It should have Georgia on there, but you get the point. All those states going red to Mish Fox. Any thoughts?
Well, first of all, Georgia isn't colored in on that map, but we'll just.
I know. I know. Just excuse that.
But
I'm sorry.
These are, again, standard results. Of course, North Carolina, a bit disappointing.
I would argue that they're standard results. I think North Carolina is a state that's winnable by the Democrats, and the fact that they didn't win it shows that obviously the Democrats are going to have to govern to the center in this election. You know, if they're going to, if they win this election, they're going to have to govern in the center, because it's clear that the country is not fully behind their agenda yet. And if we saw a blue wave in this election, we could have seen Georgia go blue, North Carolina go blue, and if we see Pennsylvania and Ohio go red, it's going to have to be a real awakening for the Democratic Party.
I mean, they were heading down to North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. They were going to all these states, which they thought they could expand the map with. And it seems like most of those states are a bust at this point. We still have to see what goes on in Florida, but the Democrats are not. Yeah.
We saw the Democrats think that they had a chance in Missouri, so they put the convention in Missouri. Obviously, they thought that they were already playing well in these states, and maybe they overextended themselves. We saw that in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, and if we see that in this election, you know, we're going to have to reevaluate the strategy as Democrats.
All right. I believe it'll be very quick, very brief. This North Carolina call this time it's outstanding for the Fox campaign. Doesn't mean again. I think this shows is that Mish is going to get a lot closer than most people thought, including myself. But we will see how this rolls around. Now, I think he has more of a chance, a lot more chances than he did when he entered the night, honestly.
The North Carolina projection doesn't dent our confidence at all. It just shows us we have more work to do in traditionally Republican states like North Carolina. I held registration drives in certain states. North Carolina was not one of them. Evidently, it should have been. We should have reached out to more voters. That's the point of a campaign. You see what happened. You see what you did wrong. The party comes together after. You go back, you fix it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of fixing to do, because we believe Mark Henry Gallagher at the end of the night is going to be the president-elect of the United States. In a few weeks, he'll be the president of the United States. So the North Carolina projection doesn't dent our confidence whatsoever.
Right. So then, no surprise effect. Let's try to move on.
Yep. All right. So we have some 10 p.m. poll closings right now. So first of all, in the state of Montana, Mish Fox has won the state of Montana. No surprise here. He was leading the polls by over 20 points in the state of Montana in his home province of Fremont. And it has gone for Mish Fox. Next up, we have another traditionally Republican state going for Mish Fox, which is the state of Utah. And actually, this state wasn't ever in contention at MAC, although it has been in somewhat contention in real life. But now we have a major projection to make, a key race alert in the Midwest to say. The state of Minnesota has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, folks. This is a big projection. This does boost the confidence of his campaign quite a bit. Puts those 10 electoral votes back in his column. And as you can see, he has won the state, and a state that is a flip from season 33, a state that Roman Thaddeus won. He has flipped. Now we are getting the first results out of the state of Iowa, if we could take a look at those.
Oops. There you go.
Oh, sorry, that's a mistake. Sorry. We are reaffirming our call in Georgia. Okay. Iowa, 49.9% for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, 49.7% for Mish Fox, 21% of precincts reporting. This state will be crucial to the very, very end. And actually, we do have some early returns out of the state of Nevada, if we could see those. Let's see. Okay, Nevada. Here we go. Nevada. The state of Nevada has gone from I'm sorry, no. It is too close to call. Although these early votes are out of Clark County. These are Clark County absentees, so be cautious. They will skew Democratic. Let's take a look at the electoral map, everybody. As you can see, Mish Fox leads 187 to 124. Thoughts, everybody?
There's no big surprises on this map here. We've already seen two flips from season 33 from the Republican column to the
I
Democratic
think
column.
you just teased a very big.
Okay, well, we can move on to that
getting
projection if you like. That's fine.
I think we should just move on to that projection.
Yeah, let's move on. We have a major projection in another Midwestern state. Excuse me, Andrew.
Well,
we have a projection right now.
Things happen. Yes, I know.
We have a projection, which is in the state of Wisconsin. Folks, the state of Wisconsin has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, and it's 10 electoral votes. This is a big win. Let's take a look at the results. If you could just tap the next slide, Andrew,
Next
out of the
slide.
states of Wisconsin. Next slide. Yep.
Right.
Go to the next one. Wisconsin, as you can see, has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, the projected winner. Oh, and also we see in the state of Florida, Mark Kennedy Gallagher is slightly ahead in the state of Florida with 93% of the vote reporting. He has a minuscule lead. Let's talk about these Florida results, everybody.
Well, Florida is clearly a virtual tie at this point. It could go to either person. We don't know the county results exactly, but if Mish Fox can, obviously the Panhandle comes in later. If Mish Fox can put up enough vote in the Panhandle and those late Republican states, he could pull out a win in Florida, and that would be devastating to the Gallagher campaign. And
I'm getting word that right now there is in the Panhandle counties there is generally 80% remaining in those counties. I'm sorry, not 80. I'm sorry, 80% reported, so 20% remaining. But
Well,
in Broward County, there's 5% left. So will Broward County offset the Panhandle counties? That's a question to be answered.
That's the question. I mean, the Republican one of the big misconceptions about Broward County is that it is overwhelmingly Democrat. It is overwhelmingly Democrat, but Republicans can get enough votes in that county, plus the votes in the Panhandle, to pull out a win in Florida. And if we see that happen tonight, if the Gallagher campaign doesn't have strength with Latinos in those southern counties, if they don't pull out voter enthusiasm and pull out the vote, we can see a Fox win. And at this point, looking at this virtual tie, that does seem to be the result we may be looking at.
The Florida results, it's close. We always expected it to be close. It's always close. Well, maybe not in certain seasons. In this case, it is. This just reaffirms our confidence in our candidate. Florida went heavily Republican, and
I have to challenge that, Monique. How does a virtual tie with 93% of the precincts reporting, 5% left in Broward County, 20% left in the Panhandle, reaffirm your confidence in your candidate? I mean,
because
I'm a supporter of Mark Kennedy Gallagher, but this is a close election. This is, I am confident in the candidate itself, but the result here, how does that affirm the confidence in Gallagher?
let me put it this way: when I was the candidate, uh, a few years ago, in 2033, Florida won Republican by, I believe, a substantial margin. So the fact that it's tied here shows the Democrats are regaining those voters that we lost, which really reaffirms our confidence and our trust in our candidate. However, again, we've seen already 2 flips across the country. In states that we expected to go blue, yes, but there's still substantial states, still critical states needed to win the White House. Yes, gaining those voters back, and with the virtual tie 93% in season 33, goes down heavily. There was no way I could come back. So this definitely reaffirms our trust in our candidate, especially me personally.
Yes. Excuse me, Andrew. We do have some results out of the state of Michigan. If you could show those to our viewers.
Right.
So, folks, we are now getting some results out of the state of Michigan. And as you can see, Mark Kennedy Gallagher's ad. And actually, we do have a major projection to make at this hour. Folks, this is a major projection, which is that the state of Michigan has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher in its 16 electoral votes. This is a big win. No way else to put it. And also, we do have another projection to make, folks. This is coming out of our decision desk with more of the in-person votes in. The state of Arizona has gone for Mitch Fox. And this is Mitch Fox is going to win pretty comfortably looking at the results in the state of Arizona. This is a state that the Gallagher campaign targeted, and they did not pull it off. So let's take a look at the electoral map at this hour. $198 for Mitch Fox and 143 for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. So your thoughts?
1 minute. This looks, as I said earlier, a couple of 20 minutes ago. This looks a lot like the 2012 map. We have a competitive Rust Belt, a competitive Southwest, and a very competitive close fight for Florida. I don't know how it's going to play out. I see the Fox campaign grasping small confidence as the night goes on, but I do think he has a big chance in Florida. We don't know about the Rust Belt states. We'll see about Ohio. Michigan, when I saw the 5% lead for Mark, I already said I think Mark's going to carry it. And, well, you didn't give me that chance to say that because he just, it was called. He had, when you can see a 5-point lead in a Democratic state or a liberal state like Michigan, with a former senator from Michigan, from the heartland, I think you know what's going to happen right there. I think the focus should be Florida. Fox has a slight advantage, in my opinion. Anything can happen. Perhaps it's not even called tonight. Ohio, we don't know yet. And we will see the updates throughout some of these states. I want to see what happens with Virginia and Pennsylvania because I think those should be looking good for Gallagher. The results there, I'll just say from what I saw earlier and what happened back then in 2012 that President Obama carried those states. I think Marco has a pretty good chance at carrying them as well.
Well, if I could say quickly, a lot of people expect this night to be long. I expected this to be long. The states, the crucial states that we need to win, because I would consider Washington, Oregon, and California pretty safe states for Mark. The crucial states that we need to win, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Florida. If we win Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Florida, that's the election. So I'm pretty confident he will.
All right. Any thoughts from Robert? Any thoughts for you? Because this election is frankly frankly very surprising. I think, as I've said many times, a lot of people expected Mish to kind of be the generic opposition, but maybe he did have some appeal that we didn't see in the polls.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of considered Mish, exactly like you said, generic Republican. Just imagine if there was just an R on the ballot, and it doesn't even matter about his name or anything. I think voters took Mish into account, and I think we're seeing that play out in the election. And I think that was a downfall of the pundit class. Obviously, no matter the result of this election, uh, you know, we didn't take a serious enough look at Mish Fox, and and I think if we had taken a serious enough look at Mish Fox and we didn't discount him because of the polling, he could have won this election if he was given equal opportunity as Gallagher. But what we're seeing here, Fox obviously going to pull off over 200 electoral votes. I think Republicans looking at
No,
this.
Mark Kennedy Gallagher will win Idaho. I'm just kidding.
Mark Kennedy Gallagher will definitely win Idaho, 100%, and Maine second. But I think Republicans looking at this map are energized for the next presidential election. They see this, they see the strong result, and they know that they can retake the White House if Gallagher was to win. They see that there is already an opening for someone to unseat an incumbent Gallagher if he were to win. So, I think if Fox loses or wins, the Republican Party, either way, is very energized by this result, especially with wins in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, um, coming close in Florida or winning Florida, coming close in Iowa or winning Iowa, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Uh, this early result in New Hampshire is obviously very energizing for them. So I think the Republicans obviously have a lot to be happy about either way in this election, and Democrats have to work to counteract that before they can retake uh, power. Retake power if that is what the results will be.
Yes. All right, we're gonna move on to a hold on. Let me just triangulate where we are. Okay, we're gonna move on to some crucial 11 p.m. poll closings right now.
Crucial.
11 p.m. poll closings. Here we go, folks. California has gone for Mark Gallagher, folks. No surprise, 55 electoral votes, all in his column. Next projection, Oregon, 7 electoral votes in Mark Kennedy Gallagher's column. And last but not least, the state of, well, not last, but actually, the state of Washington has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, a very liberal progressive state, going for a very liberal progressive candidate. All right, one more projection. Out in the Pacific Ocean, this traditionally Democratic state has gone Democratic once again, the state of Hawaii. And we have a major projection right now. If you could put that on the screen. The state of Virginia. Monique Henderson has been campaigning hard and long for Mark Kennedy Gallagher in the state, and it appears as though he has won the state. Anyway, now we're going to move on to a projection for Mish Fox, which is the state of Idaho. This puts him over 200 electoral votes, a place that many people did not think he would be. But he has gotten over that threshold with his home state of Ohio. Next, one last projection. Which is the state of second to last projection. If you could put that on the screen, the state of Alaska has gone for Mish Fox, folks. And one last projection, which is going to be a little surprising to some people. Look at this, folks. Put that on the screen.
Oh wow!
The state of Maine second congressional district has gone for Mish Fox.
I called it.
And
Robert.
let's take a look at that electoral map. Let's take a look at the electoral map, folks, which is 241 for Gallagher, 206 for Mish. Mish still has a path, but it looks as though it's tight. It's becoming a little more narrow.
I think the Maine second district is obviously, a bit of a gut punch to the Ja'Cory campaign. I think that they hoped that the only result that they would get in this election is the electoral vote from this district, and the fact that Fox could pull out a win here either shows. I don't know what the third party vote was in that district if we have those numbers right now. But I think it obviously shows strength throughout the country, and it proves the point that I was talking about earlier. I think the result in Michigan and Wisconsin uh, shows that Gallagher will probably win Pennsylvania, and I think he will probably go on to win New Hampshire, but which will propel him to the presidency. But I think that either way, the Republican Party should be very energized by this. They should look at this result and think we need to come up, reorganize, and bring ourselves in the next election with a candidate that'll lead the party, without the disorganization that happened as a result of the Davis campaign falling apart and then Fox having to take head. I think after all of that happening and all the odds being against them, 206 electoral votes at this point in the election is a very good place to be for the Fox campaign.
Well, let me just say, of course, I am ecstatic with the Virginia call. I worked my heart out to make sure Virginia flipped. I started campaigning for him there. I ended the campaign in Nevada, I believe. Virginia is obviously a close near and dear to my heart. I lost in season 33. States like in Cesaria, like Virginia, helped me win the Senate seat, and they're going to help Mark win the presidency. And again, still talking to my friends at the Gallagher headquarters, and we're all ecstatic with the Virginia win. So close to the presidency, but not close enough yet. Our confidence has not dwindled one bit this entire night. We don't expect it to. In fact, we expect to hold a victory party. And I'll be in Virginia tomorrow, speaking with a lot of people, people like Mary from Alexandria, people like Todd from Richmond, my home city. So a lot of work went into Virginia. It obviously paid off. So now all eyes are on Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Florida. Those are the key to the presidency for both campaigns. And I think Mark's going to pull it off in all 3 states.
Yep. Andrew, what are your thoughts on these projections? Because I know Virginia is a state that went for President Thaddeus twice. You were on the ticket the second time. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I would say I love Virginia. They voted for us last time. Very proud of it. Very proud of our result there. I think we won by 3 points. I don't know. I don't remember well. But I think I saw the 53-42 slide. Don't matter. I love Virginia. I think we won because of all of the suburban people, especially the suburban mothers, trusting our campaign back then. But I think Mr. Fox had a better time, or a pretty decent time with farmers and the rural vote, but a harder time with the suburban vote. We were seeing him losing in Virginia, in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. I wouldn't be too optimistic if I was in the Fox camp, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to tell you what, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, they vote together. And if that was called for Gallagher, you would have him at 261. We'll see how that plays out. That's the case. And I think depends on which states, but 2 states would give Gallagher the presidency at that point. 1 or 2 states.
Now we have to go to next projection soon.
All right, we're gonna head on to the next projections, folks. If you could just move to the next slide. Actually, this slide isn't a projection, but this is a this is a big. This is going to be a big discussion of the night. The state of Florida is 97% of the vote is in, and Gallagher has a 0.03% lead over Mish Fox. Folks, this could go down to the wire easily. And now we have a. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Just say.
I think the mobs are playing stupid with us, and they made it 0.01% just to mess with us. And now it's getting a little bit bigger. So back then I would have said Mish will win Florida, or he has a better chance. now I'm saying Mark has a better chance.
If I could say right before we go to the next projection, because it wouldn't make sense if I say it then. We talked about the 2012 election, the 2012 interlife election. In fact, if MKG wins every single state left, we'll have the exact same result from the 2012, 206.
Except Nebraska
Ever.
second.
Excuse me, folks. I'm getting word from my the decision desk that we have a major projection. Actually, two major projections coming up right now.
Oops.
The state of Pennsylvania has gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, folks. This is a major projection. This is a state that he needed to win, and he has won it. And now the next projection out of the next state, which is a state which is unusually close, but Mark Kennedy Gallagher, the Democrats have won the state traditionally, but he has won the state. So now let's take a look at the electoral map and stop right at the electoral map, Andrew. Stop right there.
I see
There we
what's
go.
happening.
266 to 206, folks. What are your thoughts?
Well, Gallagher has won this election. We
Oh, not the same. Not
no.
the same. In my head.
I think we can project that as we
We can't project, but we can predict that. I think I will put my mind.
right. We can predict it. I don't see Fox winning all of these remaining states, which is what he would need to do to
Right.
go on to win the presidency.
Well, I know what's going to happen. You see, Ivor, he always loves to pick elections with Colorado. He's not here.
Listen, folks.
And
Ivor's not part of this. I'm doing this, folks. It's my election this time. It's not going to be at the behest of Ivor. I get to do it this time.
exclamation point. I get Rudy Giuliani.
Okay, whatever. Listen.
I think,
Can we take a look at the results in the state of Florida? Just go to the next slide, Andrew. Don't go to the slide after that, just the next slide. Can we take a look at the results in Florida? There we are.
I think I know what's
Mark Kennedy Gallagher is ahead with 99% of the vote reporting, folks. Let's see what happens. What are your thoughts?
That was right. The Mets were playing stupid with us. They just made it that close so that it would say, "Oh, the election."
Yeah, I think
they added. I will give this to the Mets. I think this was an amazing performance by Mish. Honestly, even if I mean, I don't want to. I guess everyone's gonna say we're biased, but I think Mish had an excellent performance this election, and I think Mark has the upper hand in all of these states. But I think
yes, and we just got a big vote dump. We just got a big vote dump from Broward, which was a major dump from Mark Kennedy Gallagher, and has put him at an even higher lead. So, Broward County, a county that has a lot of Midwestern retirees, a demographic he does very well with. Mark Kennedy Gallagher, he does well with the ancestral Democrats, as we've seen in these Midwestern states. And there have been a lot of moments throughout this election where it looked like Gallagher, and as you said about Mish Fox is not, he didn't really run a hard campaign the way that these last two campaigns have been fought. He ran a pretty covert campaign, and people wrote him off for that. But he is holding his own, and I think he definitely aligned himself with kind of the Thaddeus brand, but he didn't really get a lot of support from the Thaddeus brand, but voters supported him in that brand. So does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I think the debate was clearly, Governor Fox mentioned President Thaddeus a lot and building on the success, or what he'd like to call the success of the Thaddeus administration. I think a lot of people, after 2 terms of the Thaddeus administration, especially in season 33, where we were promised a lot and, got a little out, I think attaching yourself to President Thaddeus, or himself, President Thaddeus, might not have done him a whole lot of good. But like I said, he ran a covert campaign, clearly got more votes than I received in season 33. So congrats, Mish. That was an inside joke with me and him that he would get less. But I think Mark has the upper hand here. He only needs 16 more electoral votes Mish needs 69.
Yes, he only needs 9 more electoral votes to be the president of the United States. He's at 266 currently, and
My count's off. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And it's looking like, as we saw Biden on November 6th, he was on the verge of the presidency. That's the same way it's looking right now for Mark Kennedy Gallagher, because he has leads in these key states. They look, especially in Florida, it doesn't look like it's a lead that's going to waver. So it looks as though he is on this path. So on that subject, after several weeks of a dramatic campaign, the campaign that has really been wild, campaign which has really been crazy, we have a major projection to make. Andrew, if you could show the slide, which is that Mark Kennedy Gallagher is the next president of the United States. This is because he has won the state of Florida, and it's 29 electoral votes, as well as winning the state of New Hampshire, and it's 4 electoral votes. If you could go to that slide. As you can see, Mark Kennedy Gallagher, if you could go to the electoral map, Andrew, has a electoral count of 299 electoral votes to 206 for Mish Fox, thus making him the next president of the United States. And if you go to the next slide, Andrew, just go to the next slide. As we can see, Mark Kennedy Gallagher, the next president of the United States. Thoughts, everybody?
As I've been consistent with saying throughout this night, I knew this was going to happen. This was my prediction, my hope, my projection, and now it's a reality. Florida, blue. Virginia, blue. Minnesota, blue. Wisconsin, blue. Michigan, blue. Delaware, blue. All these states that flipped, I think it shows. The best way to run a campaign is what MKG did. Me and MKG have ideological differences, especially with his vice presidential nominee. However, I respect both MKG and Nathan Brown. They're good friends of mine. And the way they ran their campaign, by bringing people in from all parties and stressing the fact that if you're a Democrat or Republican, MKG is going to be your president. He's going to be America's president. And a joke inside the campaign, he's going to be a Democratic president with a Republican vice president. We're going to be American public servants, and that's just the reality of it. So this one, obviously, personal to me, since I couldn't do it in season 33. I'm happy MKG did it. As I said when I endorsed him, if it took me to lose season 33, for Mark to be the president, it was really all worth it. My cheeks hurt from smiling right now, so I'm going to stop talking.
Yes, Andrew, I know you're the current vice president. What is this? What does this mean to the Republican Party, and what is the Republican Party's reaction to this election?
Well, I know I was just gonna go there, Ben. You got me there because I was just gonna refer to that. But first, before we analyze, let me congratulate Mark for his win. We've been friends for a long time. Congratulate Mish for his overperformance in this election. I didn't expect him to do that well. Let me congratulate also all the candidates, including Harvey and Corey, for running a last-minute write-in campaign for the presidency. We've moved past that. Now we will begin the transition process. I know we will have a smooth one because many Republicans are actually happy. We have Vice President-elect Natania Brown out there. I know, Nathan, you're watching. You've been an excellent Secretary of State. You've been an excellent friend, and I'm glad that I'm giving you the keys to the Naval Observatory. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Mark as well. I'm happy for the community because I think Mark is a decent man. And some Republicans I know voted for Mark. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't vote this election because I was heavily undecided between two friends, two people that would make pretty good presidents, people that I have disagreements with as well, which was also one of the reasons I didn't vote this election. So, this country has made the choice. People have voted. Ballots have been counted. We will see if there are any lawsuits, but
It was rigged. I'm just kidding. Anyway, folks, I'm kidding about that.
Let's
Well, I mean,
move on.
it's just clear that the Democrats have a model for winning now. It's called running in the center. I think this is the problem with Robert Sanders. This is, who obviously is past now.
Oh yeah, that guy Robert Sanders. He was such a bum.
Well,
My great friend Robert. My great friend.
He won the election, but he won close, and he won close because he was polarizing. And what Democrats have to be is not polarizing. We have to work with people like Nate Brown, who are sensible-minded, pragmatic people who will run this government efficiently, who have run this government efficiently, and who will project strength onto the world stage. We have to, as Democrats, govern in the center in order to create a 21st century that works for all of us. It's not about, left or right, and Mark Kennedy Gallagher proved that in this election. I think if Democrats are going to win the House again, if we're going to take back the House, then we have to do what Mark Kennedy Gallagher did on this national stage in the local elections. We have to not hyper-focus ourselves on wedge issues that drive voters away from us. And we have to be civil. We have to be putting forward an economic agenda of strength and,
Yes.
and sensibility. And I think that's what Mark Kennedy Gallagher did here. And I think the Democratic Party will react accordingly to that.
Yeah. We have two more major projections to make at this hour. Andrew, if you could just go to the next slide.
All right.
Here we go. All right, the first projection is the Pacific Islands have gone for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. He was expected to win here, and he has won. The Guam and Guam, American Samoa, and the Northern Marianas. He has cumulatively won those 3 electoral votes. And also one more projection to make, which is the state of Iowa going to Mark Kennedy Gallagher. Votes with the winner of the presidency again. This is not a shock, really, but it's a farm state. Mark Kennedy Gallagher was appealing to farmers, and he has won it. Let's take a look.
You just angered a bunch of people by not breaking the Iowa streak, though.
I don't care, okay? Listen, I don't care. I could care less. Anyway, let's take a look at the electoral map. Folks. As we can see, that main second should be red. Sorry about that.
Looks like an alternate universe. Harvey won some electoral votes.
No, that should be red. No. Anyway, it's 308. It's close.
This is obviously official.
Gallagher. No, listen, folks. Listen. Anyway, 308 to 206 is the count right now. Any reactions to those two projections?
Oh, my cheeks hurt so much. I didn't expect Iowa to go blue. Well, given Iowa's streak, I expected it to go blue because I expected MKG to win. I wanted Iowa's streak to break. Definitely didn't. And you're a terrible moderator for that. Kidding. Only kidding. Again, if MKG wins Nevada, Colorado, and Ohio, I believe that puts us exactly where we were in 2012, which would be interesting and also fun. But also, I just want to say congratulations.
Well, you just have to wait and see what the final results are, because you'll be interested in that. Okay. And actually, we do have a major projection coming in right now. Andrew, if you go to the next slide. We'll see. Which is the state of Nebraska's second, going to Mish Fox. Heavily suburban district. They love Mish Fox there, and it has gone for Mish Fox. So let's take a look at the electoral map. It's not there, but you can see the count, which is 308 to 207.
It's invisible.
Actually, no. Wait, before you say anything about that, we have some breaking news out of Nevada. Go to the next slide, folks.
Oh my God!
We have Joe Gloria ready to tell us the results out of Nevada, folks. Okay. Can you go to the next slide? We'll be counting for a few more years. No more questions. Thank you. Can you go to the next slide? We have a major projection. Joe Gloria has told us that Mish Fox has won the state of Nevada. Joe Gloria, folks, has told us this through a back channel. Can you go to the next slide? The electoral map shows. As you can see, Maine's second should be red. I don't know why it isn't. It's 308
Harvey
to
won electoral votes, and you guys are
No.
Man.
Okay, listen.
Mm.
It's 308 to 213. That's the way it is. And what are your reactions to the Nevada call and Mr. Beautiful Joe Gloria giving us the call?
Well, I mean, look, at least we got the results earlier in the night, right? I think this is a surprising result. The Fox campaign is obviously very energized by this. Maybe they can pull out a win. Who knows? It's just another result. I think we'll see Ohio go blue. I hope, and I think we'll see Colorado go blue. It's good for Fox for winning Nevada. I think I'm happy for him. Not much else to say.
All I'm gonna say is, let me put just. I'm going to analyze this with a special song. So, I'm from Fremont. I've won Nevada in a presidential election. Let me go to the. Well, anyway, know that song. Gloria, I think he's a great guy. I know him personally. Great person. I'm glad he was one that counted the votes. See what happens when a man of America counts the votes. We're not going to take Rudy Giuliani to Nevada. But yeah, I'm from Fremont. I've won Nevada. And I think Mish, as someone from Fremont, someone from a close state as Idaho, can carry Nevada. I think this is realistic. He probably did pretty well with the rural vote there, although that's not that much, perhaps with the moderate suburban vote as well. So I think he did what was necessary to win there.
Yes.
Hello?
So, sorry, I'm getting some PMs. So we're gonna move on to the next projection. I'm sorry, we do have a projection right now. If you could go to the next slide,
Colorado.
Right.
which is going to be the state of Colorado is being projected for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. 9 electoral votes. This is a big projection.
I mean, we're already the presidency, but still.
Yeah, we're already, but let's just see how far he
This is
gets.
the biggest projection of the night.
This is the biggest projection of the night because Ivor, he voted in Colorado.
This is the problem. This is the problem with you people in the mod team. You always make Colorado pick the president. Now this
no, but this time Florida did.
And begin the Colorado trend. Okay, that's what you want to do. This rigged election.
Listen, you people are crazy people.
Team, you want to install the Colorado trend. Kill the Iowa trend. Next election, the Iowa trend will be killed.
You people.
And the Colorado trend.
Okay, we're actually. Could you go to the electoral map, Andrew?
Let the record show Ben is saying you people to 3 minorities, and he's a white man from.
No, well, listen.
Why?
Whatever. That's not the point here. 317 to 213. Will Mark pick up Ohio? We're gonna get that answer right now. If you go to the next slide.
Oh, I thought it would be tomorrow.
No. Just go to the next slide.
Oh, this was simpler than what I thought.
Oh my god.
It's a total tie, folks. And we have 98%. There is 100,000 ballots left in Cuyahoga County. Which could break heavily for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. So let's take a look. We have some updated results right now. If you go to the next slide, we have some updated results. Right now, folks, Mark Kennedy Gallagher has taken the lead with 99% reporting. This is a big This is a big, significant call, and we are willing to make a call right now at this moment, that Mark Kennedy Gallagher has won the state of Ohio, and it's 18 electoral votes. Folks, this is a big projection.
We know
No Democrat has won the state in quite a while. I'm pretty sure the last person to win it was Tawny in season 25. I could be wrong, but Anyway, to the next slide we go is the final electoral map of this season. 335 to 213 electoral votes. This is a significant win for Mark Kennedy Gallagher. And if you go to the final slide, you will see the popular polls for this election, which are 58% for Gallagher, 41% for Mish. Reactions to that?
Just a quick fact check. Jacob 20 did not win Ohio in season 25.
Ooh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
I'm looking to win it now.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the popular vote totals?
Expected. Large margin, but expected. Much expected.
Yeah, well, Mish got 41% of the vote. That's quite a bit.
Wait, so there was no vote for the...
There was a vote, but it was not significant enough.
Wait, and why are we silencing them? This
why
adds
are they on there?
100%.
Oh, that's final preference.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me give you the first preference results right now. Sorry. Let's see. Okay.
17
Final
votes.
preference. So Harvey got just under 4% of the popular vote.
That's not it.
The last person to win the state of Ohio was my great friend Robert Sanders in season 27.
Based. That's so based. Oh my god.
He was the last Democrat to win the state.
I think you ran as Bull Moose back then.
Yeah, that's true. The Democrat didn't win that.
Bull
It was
Moose.
independent. It was independent.
No, it was the Independence Party. We all love the Independence Party.
No. I was running against the Independence Party. I was
No.
independent
But no,
candidate running against the Independence
You know, people like Ben like the AIP. Nobody likes the AIP, and Ben likes it. I'm just gonna point that out.
What does that? What did you
No,
just say?
okay. I'm just joking, Andrew. The point is, these are the final results, everybody.
That was my point.
Listen, folks, you're going to go to the next slide, and that's the final slide of the presentation, which is once again, we're reminding everybody the projected winner of the presidency is Mark Kennedy Gallagher. We would like to thank everybody for attending this presentation of the election results, and thank you, everybody, for watching, and we hope that you're able to, the nation is able to unite after a contentious election like this one. Thank you once again for everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Sure. Before the stream ends, I find this hilarious. Since we talked about Indiana, the last Democrat to win Indiana was also Robert Sanders in season 27. He's also the last Democrat to win North Dakota.
So bad.
We stand.
Is the stream done?
It's ending right now.
All right.